The answer is not to defund the police. It's to fund the police. Our schools are open. Let's keep it that way. Our kids need to be in school. We need to secure our border and fix the immigration system.
President Biden hoping voters forget about his liberal agenda as he takes a more moderate tone in some parts ahead of the midterms.
Here to react, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. Good morning to you, Governor. So he said we can't defund the police. We need to open our schools and we need to secure our borders. Governor, President Biden sounds like a Republican.
Yeah, somebody slipped one of Donald Trump's speech pages into his State of the Union last night. I'm sure it wasn't Nancy Pelosi because she'd already ripped up Donald Trump's speech in half. But it was a fascinating moment to see him basically say everything opposite of what he and the left in his party has been saying. But he understands how out of tune and out of touch he's been with the American people. He had no choice, but he did not speak it with the kind of conviction you'd like to hear from a president who actually believed what he was reading from the teleprompter.
Governor Huckabee, did you get the sense that I did that in some ways Biden was taking credit for a lot of the things that he unilaterally messed up?
Well, there's no doubt about that, Todd. I mean, when he talked about even energy and he was going to, open up oil reserves. I mean, what, for all of the oil that he talked about would give us oil for 3 days. 3 big, wonderful days. If he's really serious, he would do a little more, like genuinely open up our energy markets. But the part that was absolutely laughable was when he said he wanted to secure the borders and control them and open up the schools. And I'm thinking, dude, you've had the open door policy at the border since you came in. You reversed everything that was working. You opened up everything that didn't. And it was your administration and your bullheadedness that has kept the schools mostly closed across the country. It was surreal, and yet people stood up and applauded as if he had just discovered ice cream.
Well, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds gave the Republican rebuttal. It was about a 13-minute-long speech. It aired directly after President Biden's State of the Union address, and she said that the president has taken us back to the 80s. Listen to this.
Instead of moving America forward, it feels like President Biden and his party have sent us back in time to the late 70s and early 80s, when runaway inflation was hammering families, a violent crime wave was crashing our cities, and the Soviet Army was trying to redraw the world map.
Governor, how did you feel about her speech? How'd she do?
You know, that's the toughest speech that anyone has ever asked to do, and I thought she handled it very, very well. She came across with warmth and sincerity, and she's got a genuinely solid platform upon which she can speak in her own record. But when she was referencing the late 70s, early 80s, I couldn't help but think, gee, Joe would have looked good in a polyester leisure suit with sideburns down, to his chin. That would have been a remarkable moment. And he said, hey, 70s, I heard you calling. I'm coming back. We're going to get those interest rates up to 20 again. We're going to live with inflation like you've never seen it and have gas lines around 6 blocks. So that would have been an appropriate kind of picture, I think, for the speech. Look, I want to say I thought he did well on 2 things. The Ukrainian situation, even though he thought it was the Iranians that he was fighting for, that was a malapropism. The other moment that I really applauded was when he talked about let's go after the moonshot with cancer. When presidents can talk aspirationally about things that are big, bold, challenging, and that touches every American, if he's sincere, serious, and really will sit down with Republicans in a bipartisan way, those are the kind of things that make more sense than just throwing trillions of dollars at a bunch of social programs and union-creating jobs because he owes some political favors.
Governor, we have about 20 seconds remaining, but the Biden administration did want this to be a reset for his presidency. Do you think he succeeded?
I don't think it was a reset of his presidency. It was a reset of the left agenda, unfortunately. He had a great moment that he could have had, but I don't think he lived up to it in a way that he needed to.
Yeah, and the immediate polling shows that on crime and inflation, people say that he missed the mark on both of those important issues. Governor, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks.
All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.